Thank you. Ralph, I'll text you, okay?
Good morning, Aaron.
Hey, good morning. What was the last name?
Welsheimer.
Page 21.
Thanks. All right, Ms. Wilsheimer, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. You're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, man. I see that you're also charged with failure to comply with the duty and striking an unattended vehicle as well. You're also facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine on that one as well. Okay.
On October 31st of 2024, officers received a call for service regarding an intoxicated female driving a white BMW that hit several vehicles on a public roadway. Upon arrival, officer made contact with the wheel witness, who advised that the defendant hit a Subaru on the 11700 block of Idlebrook in Harris County, Texas. Officers searched the license plate on the defendant's vehicle and it went to the registered owner's address. Upon arriving at the residence, officer observed a white BMW matching the description and noticed fresh damage on the front passenger side of the vehicle. Officer made contact with the defendant's wife, who stated the last person operating the motor vehicle was the defendant. Upon contact with the defendant, she admitted to hitting a vehicle. HGN was attempted, but the defendant was unable to follow simple directions and the officer was unable to get accurate results, and the defendant refused other SFSTs. DICs were read but refused and a blood warrant was signed and executed. Officers made contact with the complainant, the owner of the hit motor vehicle, whose back bumper has been scratched and detached from the car as a result of the collision. No prior criminal history, judge, and eligible driver's license.
How do you know it was her that was driving?
The license plate matched
So?
the one with the,
Yeah, I understand. Do we have anyone that puts her in the car driving?
yeah, the witness, judge, they,
Actually sees it's her?
no, but the witness sees the license plate and gets a description of the vehicle, and when officers search the license plate, it went to their address.
I know it's her car, but do
Yes.
you have anyone that identifies her as a driver? Number one, they get her at the house. How do we know she's not consuming alcohol right when she gets to the house? She doesn't become DWI, or she's not drinking at the house. There's a lot of issues. Yeah,
You might give me a couple moments and we'll
Take your time.
Look at that.
you want to come back a little bit later? You want like 10 minutes?
Even less, Judge, I'm just gonna check the office report and see what I
Okay,
got.
yeah.
5 is okay. Thank you, Judge.
You've got A, you've got C, but you don't have B yet.
Yes,
you know?
judge, no, we understand.
So. We do something else?
Hey, you want to step aside, Judge, for?
Yeah, do you mind? Just give me 5, let me, because we have a lot.
Sure, sure.
All right, so I have several issues with this, Michael. First off, how do you prove it was her driving? Number one. Number two, how do we know she was DWI at the time she was driving and not she gets home and she just starts getting loaded?
Yes, Judge, I have answers to both of those questions for you.
Okay.
So the defendant driving the vehicle strikes somebody on the highway. I'll connect that later on. They find the license plate because the witnesses, I give them the license plate. They run it. The registered owner of the vehicle is the defendant. They go to her house. Her wife answers the door. Her wife states the defendant's the last person that drove the vehicle. Okay. The defendant was contacted. She admits to driving the vehicle and striking somebody on the highway.
Okay,
And she admits, I'm sorry, she first admits that she was driving and drinking, but she did not admit to striking somebody on the highway. Later on, when she gets to JPC, she admits, okay, I was drinking, but I didn't strike somebody on the highway. So she has multiple inconsistent statements. First, she says, yes, I struck somebody, but I wasn't drinking. Then she goes to JPC and then she says, right before they do the blood draw, because she declines the breath test and they say, okay, we're gonna get a warrant. We're gonna get your blood anyways and know your alcohol content. She says, okay, well, I was drinking, but I didn't strike somebody on the highway. and I wasn't driving.
Okay.
But the
but
witness
the failure-
identifies.
The failure, right, to the FSGI,
She admits to drinking, Judge, while driving.
that in and of itself is not sufficient. You know, at the time, we don't know, does she have bloodshot eyes, slurred speech? Do we know? All we have is just one admission of drinking. That's it.
So one of the witnesses, Judge, that observed her strike the vehicle, because they did observe her in the vehicle after the strike before she left. She states in a voluntary statement, older white lady in BMW, acting crazy, rear ends a Subaru, got out of the car, slurring her speech, barefoot, stating she was
That's
trying to
different.
get
You
home.
give me any indication that she
Yes, Judge.
leads you to
Yes, Judge.
just to believe that she's intoxicated, that you have objective facts, that's something else.
There's a written statement in the offense report, Judge, from a witness.
Counsel, did you want to state anything?
Can I have one, Judge?
Did you want to say anything?
No, Judge, I mean, I just agree with you. I think it's hard, again, put her behind the vehicle. They say they have a witness. The witness never really ID'd her, gave her just kind of a description, but didn't really ID and say, you know, the officer never brought her to the scene. That's the person or anything like that.
Two different admissions, though. That's how we connect that, right? And then my other concern was whether she was intoxicated, right? Because we have a disconnect there, but we have witnesses that see her in a certain way that will lead us to believe as to why. So, all right.
She's gonna dispute that she admitted.
Sure.
Judge, but still, I
This is just a mere probable cause hearing, right? Just to determine whether there's enough to go forward. It by no means does it mean that you're guilty, just enough to go forward. Is it enough to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt? Perhaps not, perhaps, I don't know. You know, evidence will point to whose side is correct, because I wasn't there. Mr. Probable wasn't there. Michael wasn't there, but evidence will lead us to believe. I mean, there should be videos, dash cam, you know, videos of you on the night in question, and all that will tell us whose side is correct. It will take a while, but in the interim, don't consume alcohol. Don't use illegal drugs, and I'm going to test you like crazy. If I find that you're consuming alcohol or any illegal drugs, I will put you in jail. You will not get any more PR bonds. Do you understand?
Yes.
Michael, do you see any prior DWIs?
Checking now, Judge.
Do you have a valid Texas driver license?
Yes.
Do you have valid liability insurance in your
Yes.
name? Okay, as long as you have both, you can continue to drive. But like I said, no alcohol, no illegal drugs.
She's got no criminal history, Judge, and her
Okay,
driver's license is currently eligible.
all right. So for now, you have a lawyer. Because you have a lawyer, we will waive your appearance. You don't have to waste your time coming to court, but you must stay in touch with counsel, and he'll tell you if and when you have to come back to court. If he tells me he can't get a hold of you, we will issue a warrant for your arrest. So don't pick up any new cases. Don't use, stay in touch with counsel, and we're good. Give me
Thank you.
questions. All right. We'll have you sign a wreath of Victoria. We'll have you get with pretrial, and then you're free to go after that.
If I
Thank
may
you,
say
Judge.
one thing, I like your jacket.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you, Judge.